Good morning, fellow Toastmasters. It's 7 a.m. Welcome to our open house. It's good to see everybody here this morning and on Zoom. I would like to invite up our inspirator, Maggie Craig. Maggie, would you like to come up and give us an inspirator this morning? Yes. Hi. Yeah, it's not a good way to start, but good morning, Maggie.
There is nothing like starting the day. That's not my inspiration, by the way. Boom, out of the gate. Do I have my coat off yet? So a small inspiration. Strength grows in the moments that you believe you can't go on, but keep going on anyway. It isn't attributed to anyone, but it's a great quote. Thank you. Good morning.
Maggie. All right. I'd like everybody to stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning, everybody. We'd like to welcome to our open house. We'd like to welcome our guests in the room. Darcy, welcome, Darcy. Thank you for coming this morning. And we have a guest on Zoom is our Division A Director, Karen Stewart from Rhetorical Roar. Let's give a hand for Karen. And we like to say hi from South Carolina. David Shannon is on. We'll say hi to Dave. North Carolina. I get the Carolinas mixed up. Yeah. All right. Quick announcements. We dues are due, and make sure everything gets to Beth for that. And oh, of course. Okay. Well, we need that. There's pastries in the back from David. Thank you, David. Because it is an open house. Good morning, Joe. Welcome, Joe. All right. We have myself, Mary, Kate, Len, Jackie, Mark, Marty, Darcy, our guests, Sylvia, Nancy, Mike. Marty's in her twice. Okay. Carol Ann, Steve, Jill, Dave, and Maggie. On Zoom, we have Margot, Dave Shannon, Mike Lacara, Marshall, and Karen. All right. And Joe Budnick is here. Okay. Now we introduce you to the Waltons. Now we introduce Mike Florio as our Toastmaster.
Thanks, Eric, Mr. President. Good morning, everyone, our guests and fellow Toastmasters. Well, the theme today is springtime. I think we're just about done with winter. You know, I'm a little bit early with the springtime, but I'm done with winter now. I'm done. Ice, snow, we're a hardy bunch, right? We people from Western New York here are tough. We hang in there. We can get through winter no problem, but man, oh man, this one, yeah, it started out, December was nothing, right? January was easy, and then all of a sudden February hit and we got blasted with everything under the sun. So I'm ready, this vitamin D deficient body, at least that's what my doctor told me when I went for my checkup. It needs some sunshine. So I want to start with a toast. We'll start with a toast. And oops, sorry about that. Oh, keep trying. There we go. To the end of the ice and snow, and welcome to the sunshine and the warmth of spring. Hear, hear. Hear, hear, everyone. So spring officially starts March 20th to June 20th. And we get to gain 2 to 3 minutes of sunshine every day. And the sun is actually, well, not shining this morning, but at least we can see where our car is and check out the snow. And we don't have to scrape anything yet. I mean, it has been known to snow in April, so I just don't want to, and May, yeah. And then remember, March 9th, we spring forward, so that's coming. Yeah, it's coming this weekend, and get ready. So we'll have a little bit longer days. To me, spring is kind of like a renewed energy, a rebirth every year. Gives us a chance to, from the dormant winter and kind of get started on your new goals of what you want to try and accomplish for the summer or for the rest of the year. Now, does anybody know I on the painting? Anybody possibly know who it is? It is a springtime painting. Salvador Dali. Yes, it is. I don't know. I don't know how much springtime, maybe the road into summer that is through the desert. I'm not really sure. I mean, we could probably take the whole time here trying to figure out what Salvador was laying down here on his painting. Anyways, this morning, let's get into who our role holders are. And I will start right away with my general evaluator, Joe Budnick. Joe, you want to come up and let us know? How are you going to evaluate me? It's a little too early. We shall see. We shall see. Oh.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I will be the general evaluator today. I will be evaluating the evaluators and the general theme of the meeting, and best of luck to all of our speakers today. Thank you, and welcome to all our guests. Thank you.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it. Next, we'll go to our jester, Sylvia. Come on up, Sylvia. Good morning.
Good morning. For people who live in Western New York, you could relate to the seasons of Western New York. Winter, fake spring, second winter, pothole season, third winter, flood season, mud season, summer, pretend fall, second summer, fall, pretend winter.
So true. Let's see, next, our word master this morning, Jill Roaring. Jill, come on up. I see we already have the word of the day presented for us. But good morning.
Well, I was originally thinking of making the word mud, but that was just a little too simple. So transition is the word of the day. You need to use it during table topics and during the rest of the meeting as well. A transition is a change or shift from one state, subject, place, etc. to another. It can also refer to a change from one form or type to another, or the process by which this happens, such as transitioning back to the Toastmaster.
And what a perfect transition. Thank you very much. And while we're at it, Nancy's right here. Let's transition right over to Nancy, our master this morning.
This morning, I will be listening for ers, ahs, ands, ums. Those are not great transition words. There are other ways that we can transition our thought. And sometimes if we're not sure what we want to say, it's okay to talk a little slower, pause for a minute and move on. It's kind of grating on the ears when we use transitions like e, ah. So let's try not to use that. Transitioning back to our Toastmaster.
I will try very hard. Last time I was Toastmaster, I think, I had about 10. I'll try harder. This morning, our grammarian is Mike Licata. Mike's on Zoom. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and our guests this morning at our open house. And we are going to try to hopefully transition to spring this morning, but as the grammarian, it is my job to record the exceptional use of the English language and the poor uses of grammar in the English language, and to report back at the end of the meeting. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Mike. Our timer this morning is Mary Cabanero. Mary, come on up, Mary. Let us know.
Oh, I have to shake your hand. Eric would get me if I didn't shake your hand.
That'd be a perfect transition.
Dave Licata. So table topics is 1:30 at green, yellow at 1:45, and red at 2 minutes with a 15-second buffer. Speeches are 5 minutes at green, yellow 6 and 7 at red with a 30-second buffer. And evaluations 2 minutes at green, 2:30 at yellow, and 3 minutes at red with a 30-second buffer.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, good, excellent, thanks. Our quiz master this morning, Beth Banks. Beth, is she on? Anyone want to avoid? Come on up, Lon.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. I can speak. My job today as quizmaster is to pay attention, number one, to all things said during the meeting and come up with a few random questions to test your listening powers as well. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thanks, Len, and thanks for filling in. I appreciate it. You know, you're the third person I've heard talk about the mud. When I asked my wife the other day, last night, I said, well, what do you think about when you think about spring? And she said, mud coming in the house. And when we had dogs, we always had our two dogs coming in and there was mud all over the house. And I go, come on, you have to have something that you like about spring, you know? And she said the leaves coming back, and I agree with her there. You know, it's nice to see the trees full again and the sun shining. So this morning, let's go right into table topics. Our table topics master this morning is Marty Johnson. Marty, welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster of the day. Most welcome guest, Darcy, fellow members. As we're transitioning into table topics, I have a few impromptu questions, and for the sake of our guests, I'll explain table topics. Table topics is an impromptu speaking opportunity, and we practice it weekly at our meetings for those times in real life situations when we can sound somewhat intelligent and answer a question off the cuff. And that makes a big difference when you can answer a question instead of mumbling and fumbling and trying to grab an answer out of the air. You can practice it at our meetings, and then when it comes to a real life situation, you have it right there to respond. I'm going to start with David Shannon, our guest from Carolina. David, good morning. David, what are you looking forward to doing this spring? And use the word transition in your response. David, you're on mute.
Okay, now not. You hear me? All thumbs up. Okay. Transition. Oh boy, is that me right now. I finished playing a round of golf this morning. Now I'm transitioning into the Toastmasters meeting, but the big transition for me was going from Western New York for the first time ever into the southern part of the country. Everyone here has been very polite. I have watched the schools close for 1 inch of snow, and yesterday they closed for wind. So it is a spring transition here, but they really don't have the same conditions as Western New York. I am transitioning into learning where everything is. I thank God for GPS, or else I'd be lost. But I love my new house, and we're unpacking boxes and transitioning into a home. We started with 110 boxes. Now we're down to about 25. So we're transitioning into living here without boxes. What I'm looking forward to spring is all the farmers markets down here. They're open year round, but in springtime they go more hours in 2 days instead of one. I've enjoyed all the different people down here, but I'll tell you the truth, I miss you guys. That's why I made it my business this morning to join you. And I really like to see your faces again. And Dave Licata, I'm sorry that I can't enjoy the treats you probably brought in, which are delicious. So I'm going to transition back to the Table Topic Master and tell you that I enjoy everything about this meeting. Adios, y'all.
Thank you.
Bye.
Margot, tell us, you have an option as we transition to the next question. You have an option. You can either A, tell us about your most memorable spring, or I know you love to use words, the first syllable in a word and make it a word or a saying. I know you've done that in the past in different things, but can you use the word spring and tell us what you would like with each letter in the word spring, or tell us about your most memorable spring? Margot.
Thank you. So I am getting the feeling there's a repetition for you, Mr. Grammarian, that you want me to use two words today, both spring and transition. Well,
do it.
I really like Dave's question about what I look forward to in spring, because what I really look forward to, especially this spring, is the fact that travel season will be over for my husband. He spent 6 days in Washington, D.C. He has made 4 trips to Albany, and I don't know if anybody saw my Facebook page yesterday, but he got to meet with Governor Hochul about some of these tariffs and its effect on agriculture. He is supposed to go to Cooperstown next week, but we're not sure that's going to happen because that's Thursday, and Friday he has to speak at the Ag Forum, which leaves my 2 sons and myself, for the most part, trying to run 2 businesses that he usually takes one and I take the other. So as we transition from winter into spring, I'm looking forward to him staying home. I'm looking forward to the H2A workers coming in and pruning the trees so that they will look gorgeous and bring us lots of fruit. And the final thing I'm looking forward to this spring, I'm trying to switch to gallery review so I can see where the timer is getting ready for our next murder mystery, which Steve and and Kate are going to be in. So as we go from winter to spring, we'll enjoy it. And while I'd love to do the other for you, I do need a few more minutes to prepare than just here, go do the speech. Thank you, Mr. Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Margot. Next, Darcy, would you like to try one? Okay. Darcy, is spring your favorite season? And if not, what is your favorite season? And try to use the word transition. Darcy. Good morning. Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me be a guest here today. As I transition from my seat over to here, I'm thinking about all the things I'm going to say. So I'm going to transition from several different things, but we'll talk about spring. We're going to talk about spring. First of all, I brought some items to prove to you that I actually was in Toastmasters before. Here are some of the ribbons that I've won in Toastmasters. Okay. The rest of them are all certificates. I made 2 levels, competent Toastmaster and then competent leader. And these are those certificates. The rest of them are for various other things in Toastmasters. You're welcome to look at them. My favorite one is when I was president of Jabberwocky Toastmasters. This was many years ago, as you can tell. My daughter was very young, and now she's 23. And the local newspaper did a little feature article about me. I don't know why, but they did. So they put my picture and then a little blurb underneath about being president of Jabberwocky Toastmasters. So back to spring, as I transition back to the topic of spring. I love spring. Last spring, I started walking to transition into a new body. I've got a 30-acre field nearby and another 40-acre field. So it takes me about half an hour to go around each one, which is a pretty good walk for a day. I see the green light. There was so much more I wanted to talk about, and I can't. I'll just say the last thing and wrap it up. When I transition to spring, I go from my boots to my sandals. I don't think I even own a pair of shoes. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Darcy. May we please have a timer's report? Mary?
Everybody qualified actually. David C at 2:01, Margot at 1:45, and Darcy at 2:07.
Thank you, Mary. And a word master's report, Jill. Morning. Good morning again, everybody. Did anybody hear David use the word? I'm not really sure. He has said transmission, yes. Yeah, I think he was getting to the point of using it as a crutch word. He used it 8 times by my count. This was a good word, apparently. Margot used it twice and Darcy used it 5 times. So it's been getting used, and I keep the rest of the list for later. Thank you, Jill. I'd like to welcome back up our president, Mike Florio. Mike, thank you, Mike.
I got a promotion. President. Not, no, it does not, Dave. It does not just happen that way. No, thank you. So we're going to transition backwards a little bit here because I missed Marshall as the quote master. And Marshall, I also want to know, springtime in China is the new year, correct? So I mean, I'd like to hear your quote of the day, but I'd also like to know, you know, how do you enjoy the new year and what do you do? I mean, I know isn't it? It's about a month long, isn't it? You guys get to take some time, man. Go ahead. Sorry I missed you.
Thank you for your transition to back to Toastmaster time. Yesterday, I asked my friend, could you give me a quote to share in Toastmaster? He gave me one, and it really helped me during the Chinese New Year. This sentence in your culture is two hands are better than one. In Chinese culture is three clumsy lieutenants working together are stronger than Napoleon. My grandpa passed away on the Chinese New Year Eve, and I was in the place away 5,000 kilometers west of my hometown, and I rent a car. I needed to go to north 2,000 kilometers to return the car and then come back. But I didn't have enough time, so I gathered my friends to give a brainstorm. And finally, I decided to find a car carrier, a truck, to carry the car and return it. And I flew directly to my hometown and I joined the funeral in time. So to get a brainstorm is very important. Thank you. Go back to Mr. Toastmaster.
Thanks for sharing that. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. So the first day of spring is called the vernal equinox. The term vernalis is Latin for spring. The fall and spring equinoxes are only 2 times during the year, when the sun rises due east and sets due west, exactly. The first day of spring in the northern hemisphere is the first day of fall in the southern hemisphere. So they get theirs down under, they get their winter coming to them. So that's good. The first spring flowers are typically lilacs, irises, lilies, tulips, daffodils, and dandelions. I like to start thinking about in the spring, what I'm going to plant in my bucket garden. And that's usually something I start working on right away. Holidays that occur in spring: Easter, of course, Passover, April Fool's Day, Earth Day, Arbor Day, Mother's Day, Father's Day, Cinco de Mayo. So, there's a lot of things to celebrate in the spring to get ready for. So let's transition over to the speech portion of our meeting. And this morning, our first speaker will be, hold on one second. It is Kate Orr, and Carol Ann will be the evaluator for Kate. So come on up. Introduce. You have her.
Yeah.
Perfect.
This morning, I will be evaluating Kate. Her path is persuasive influence and Project L3 elective inspire your audience. The purpose is to present an engaging speech that interacts with the audience. And her introduction is, as our immediate past president and unofficial social chair, Kate will be sharing some upcoming plans for this spring 2025. Get out your phone calendars to save the dates. Kate's title is Spring Shenanigans. Kate.
Shenanigans coordinator is what my shirt says, if anybody can't read that. And it's true. Our guest on Zoom has seen it in person, and our guest in the room probably can tell already just by our conversation on Monday and also today so far. Okay. Pull out your calendars. I apologize, I don't have a flyer handout with save the dates. However, as usual, I will follow up with email and send out important dates. And Eric is amazing, helping with PR and putting Facebook events on. We are going to attempt to do this in chronological order, and I would love for you to correct me when there are corrections and suggestions, etc. Okay, today, spring open house. We haven't decided if we'll do a spring open house the first Thursday of each month, but that was successful last spring, so we probably will do that. I would love to jump back to my notes to make sure I do this in the right transition in order. We are in quarter one. Our Mr. Vice President of Education is probably thinking, oh boy, we're actually at the end of quarter one. We go January, February, March with our schedule that's already set up. So in the next couple of weeks, he and Len will be coordinating quarter two and April, May, and June. Please let them know if you're not attending or if you have certain projects you'd like to be accomplishing, since we do plan out for our guests our schedule in advance. And then we plug in as needed if anybody has to back out more last minute. Our dues are due, like our Toastmaster of the Day also mentioned this morning. My mom, Beth, is treasurer, can't be here today, but she's been sending email notices. It's $10 a month to TI, Toastmasters International, and $1 a month to the club to take care of our tech. Len and I were talking about a minor upgrade this morning, so I'm excited about that coming. And if you have questions, you can ask the president or any other officer at the end of the meeting. Coming up at the end of March, March 29th. What's March 29th? Oh, it's a Saturday. I know you know, you're going to be a sergeant at arms. Who knows what it is? Okay, you can say it, Mary. It's competition. The Division A contest is Saturday, March 29th. And who is in the room or going? David and Maggie are going on to the next level. So please go to the Amherst Audubon Library. I don't remember the time. I'll send it in the email. It's in the morning. And stiff competition, but it's, again, international contest and table topics. Super exciting. We will carpool. That's, again, Saturday, March 29th. Why is April 1st important to our club? Because there's a lot of fools and it's our anniversary. I'll go with both. Last year, we celebrated the 40th anniversary with our club. We had an awesome dinner party. We will not be doing that this year for the 41st anniversary, but that's exciting that it's 41 years with some charter members still in the club. That's exciting. Earth Day, we often do some canal cleanups. Eric and I will talk about that again because we haven't done that in a while. It's time to get back into a canal cleanup of some kind. So that's coming up in mid-April. What's the last weekend of April? Anybody who knows? Arbor Day, it's the last weekend of April? Last Friday of April, excellent. It is also the District 65 Conference at the same hotel, Doubletree in Rochester. That's, again, the last weekend. And this year, they're starting Friday. They have a keynote speaker Friday evening. They have a fun party Friday night. They have all day Saturday and a fun party Saturday night at the same hotel. So get your tickets for that. Super exciting. At that point, I will, as immediate past president, be looking to get the slate of officers situated. I have spoken with some of you about being officer next term, and Mike Florio's trying not to make eye contact with me at this point. However, we've been talking for the whole slate of officers. If you're interested in any particular position, Mike Florio, president. I'm kidding. He's did an excellent job as the second this year, so I think he would do a wonderful job as first. We shall see what happens, but usually we try now the last few years to get the officer voting done one of the first meetings in March. So we'll have to publicize to you all the slate in April because we have to give a couple weeks notice to everybody, which means I try to line up someone for each officer position if you're interested, and then I present it to the whole club and we vote for everybody as a slate by first or second week of May. Okay? And what else in the spring? One more thing, which at Post Toasties, what's Post Toasties for our guests? I don't think Karen even knows do you know what Karen, our guest, what's Post Toasties? Do you have any idea? I know we did not come up with it. We copied it from someone else.
I think of post toasties or the post toast portion as an invitation for anyone in attendance to stay after a meeting for casual conversation. Questions are welcome, that sort of thing.
Karen is so eloquent, isn't she? Bravo to Karen, our Division A director. Thank you, Karen. So post Toasties, we chit chat here and often go for breakfast. I imagine that's happening even though we have lovely refreshments for the open house. Double up. Okay. Awesome. We have
probably olive leaf today for breakfast. I can go. I'm excited. I have missed meetings for a couple of weeks. You can linger on Zoom, but we usually turn the cameras off because we have to get the recording going and get out of the room in the space. Any case, May 3rd, save the date. At Post Toasties, about a month and a half ago, we talked about doing something for the 5th time ever. 5th time Shaw Festival. Saturday, May 3rd. This year, we're looking at Anything Goes. That's a fun musical. In olden days, a glimpse of stocking was looked on as something shocking. Now heaven knows anything goes. I'm not going to keep going. I already have the yellow light. Anyway, that's a matinee. We have a great time. We go to the Angel Inn or somewhere else and maybe a party along the lake. We'll find out. Saturday, May 3rd. Okay, to be discussed at Post Toasties. And at the end of May, sometime middle of May, maybe May 15th, the DECA students will be coming. We're looking at maybe May 15th, the annual presentation where they run our meeting. So you just got a whirlwind recap of our spring plans, and I will send an email follow-up. Thank you very much, everybody, for participating. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster. My goodness.
That is a ton of shenanigans.
It is so many shenanigans. All right.
Thank you. Our next speaker this morning, Jackie Kenny, will be evaluated by Mr. David Licata. Uh-oh, be afraid.
Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and our guest in Zoomland and Darcy in person, thank you for coming by. Are you listening? That's the only information she gave me. That's her title. Normally, the eloquent Jackie Kenny would fill me in and be proactive and all those wonderful things that she's known for. But today it's, are you listening? I'm guessing 5 to 7. I'd be right. About time. I'll do it. Jackie Kenny, are you listening?
Thank you. It's not just me. I heard one speaker giving his speech title to someone earlier, and I gave mine to the evaluator and to the host this morning. And so did Kate. So we were all kind of winging it today, but that's something you feel able to do after a while in Toastmasters. Are you listening? That's a real developed skill. You think you're listening all the time, but one thing you learn as you spend more and more time in Toastmasters is there's a fine art to listening, to actually hearing what the person in front of you is saying, not just waiting for your turn to talk, which is what you see a lot of people doing. They're not really having a conversation. They're queuing up their time to talk. And that's what they really care about, rather than absorbing what the other person is saying and understanding what's coming from across the table or across the room. So something that we always strive for in Toastmasters is to spend more time focusing on the person in front of us and what they're trying to share with us. I have loved Toastmasters since the first meeting I came to. You learn something new at every single Toastmasters meeting. And if you don't, you're not listening. Because there's always someone who has a little kernel of information that you never heard before. I didn't know Salvador Dali did a painting about spring. That's kind of interesting to me. I'm not sure it looks like spring to me, but thank you for sharing it, Mike. He is an interesting man. One of my relatives had a couple of his pictures that he had received from him personally, and I wonder what happened to those over the year. All of the things that you see in that painting today can say spring to you, but you're also hearing people talk about spring in the room. How many days to this? When are we going to do that? I hope you took some notes. Kate ran through it awfully fast, as she does. But we'll get all that information and we'll have an opportunity to share all those things. We have a good time in this club. That's definitely one of our pluses. And I'm glad someone who used to be in Toastmasters recognized the value and came back to join us again. Hopefully you'll be staying and we'll see you again. We have so many people in this club who are so interesting and who bring us so much on a weekly basis. It's perfect. It's perfect to be here, to share, to listen, and to absorb all of that information as you progress through Toastmasters. You are giving yourself the gift of improvement, but you're also learning about other people and sharing things. I can't imagine a better way to spend a morning. But that's what we do in Toastmasters. We spend that time, we have post-toasties and share a lot then. Everybody talking at once. Poor Dave Shannon doesn't get to do that anymore. Maybe someone will whip out their cell phone and let him join the conversation. I knew he was paying attention. He's kind of like the ghost of Christmas past.
Oh, yeah.
So everyone has the opportunity in Toastmasters to transition from a person who kind of hears what's going on to a person who really listens and absorbs the things that are important from every conversation. And I think that's a gift that everyone here is giving themselves. So I'm glad you're all here and able to share this morning. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Jackie. Our third and final speaker this morning is Steve Smith. And his evaluator is our current president, who may want to go a second term. I don't know. It's very possible.
I wouldn't be surprised. Yes, yep. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and our guest this morning. Mr. Smith is going to Washington. No, I'm just kidding. Steve is speaking this morning, doesn't have a path, so he's going to wing it this morning. His time is 5 to 7 minutes, Madam Timer. And his speech title is Time to Garden. Time to Garden, Steve Smith.
If it'll make you happy, Dave, I could change the title of this to Wrestling with Your Garden. I thought about that. Anyway, it seemed to me more appropriate to talk about spring and, by extension, getting back into the garden. As has been mentioned, we lose our hour again this weekend. The vernal equinox is on March 20th, which has been discussed, so I can omit some of that. However, just One little thing that he didn't add, it actually happens at 5:01 a.m. on March 20th. Then it becomes officially spring. So we're starting to enter into this wonderful time when we start thinking about getting back outside again. And there's a lot to do. There's education. Next weekend is Plantasia. We're going to that. It's about 4 days of educational seminars and all kinds of dealers trying to sell you stuff you don't need. And the week after that, we're going to what's called Hosta College. That's in Ohio. That's another day-long seminar. You know what says Hosta College? They talk about all things garden there. So this is all just getting more education. Give us ideas of things we want to do out there. Now she has, I don't know what you got, several hundred varieties of hostas right now, at least. There are approximately 900 varieties of hostas. I think her goal is to, what? I said 9,000. I said 9,000. It's up for debate anyway, so why not? Every time I ask this question, there's more varieties because they keep breeding more varieties. Why? To sell to people like her. But I think her goal is to have one of all of them. But we do have hundreds of hostas, and they are beautiful, and they attract wildlife, which is a good thing, which is what we should be thinking about right now. She is trying to change my ideas about gardening. Unfortunately, I've been doing that for at least 60 years. I used to garden with my dad, so it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks. I'm trying. One of the biggest things right now is a transition into no-till farming. I get the benefits of that, but there's a big downside. If you don't work the ground, you don't chop up those weeds that are growing in there, and you put plants in, before you know it, you got weeds coming up. You're going to have them anyway, but that slows them down. That's part of the process of control. And also, if you haven't got some nice loose dirt, it's hard to make a nice row in there and plant your seeds. So there's a lot of reasons why I like to see it worked up. My dad liked to work it up into powder. I'm not that obsessive about it, but I like to see it nice and worked, make it easier to lay out my rows and plant stuff. Because as I think I've mentioned this in previous speeches, because I do like to plant vegetables. I plant tomatoes. She doesn't like tomatoes. I plant hot peppers. She doesn't like hot peppers. I'm obsessive about that. I usually have somewhere in the neighborhood of 25 varieties of hot peppers in the garden. Anything from extremely mild, like the Hungarians, which are very mild, all the way up to your Carolina Reapers, which comes under the heading as, what is wrong with you? Because those are fiery. And I like these little Thai dragons. They're little bitty peppers, but they're fiery. So, and it depends on what I'm cooking with, which pepper I want to choose. If I want to light up a whole pot of chili, you just need one of those Reapers, which is more than enough. I made the mistake once of chopping up no, it was a ghost pepper. I chopped up a ghost pepper and put it in an omelet. I think I got through about 2/3 of the omelet. No, I got to quit. It was pretty fiery. But anyway, so we have all that going on. My big problem is I started to talk about the no-till. I have a rototiller that I pull behind my little lawn tractor. I say little lawn tractor because it's dwarfed by our big loader backhoe, but that done a nice job of working up the ground. Unfortunately, that died. And go to find parts for it, it's getting harder and harder to find parts for it. And I did not realize till I said, I guess it's time to get a new one. They don't make them anymore. Well, that's why I can't find parts for it. So now we're in the position of trying to find some new way for me to work some ground up. We bought a new cordless rototiller, rear tine. I've never used a rear tine, but it's supposed to be easier on you, and that I like. And that's been all over the garage in pieces parts, and I finally got that put together. Now I got to find a place to put it to get it out of the garage. So that's where we're at. We're trying to get ready for spring. We're thinking spring. You're thinking it's getting warmer out there at night. We got to get out there and start doing stuff, which of course you always want to go out there too soon, and you're doing more damage than good. Because if you go out there, work dirt while it's still too wet, you're just compacting it and making a mess. Where am I at here? They know it's all over the place, the things I wanted to touch on, which my main impetus was to encourage people to go out and garden. It's fun. It's therapeutic to be out there getting your hands dirty, working in the soil, raping up the weeds. And I've given a speech about that before too. 3 of the most common garden weeds are edible. Lamb's quarter, amaranth, they're also known as red root, and purslane. They're all perfectly edible and they taste pretty good. Both of those, all of those plants are known as pigweed. There are thousands of plants known as pigweed as a common name. And that's why you have to go back to the Latin name when you're talking about plants, so that you're talking about the same thing. I stopped calling things pigweed because having worked on a pig farm, I can tell you there's darn little a pig will not eat. So it's too easy to call something pigweed. No, give me some more. Any common plant you want to look at, wild plant, has got a list about yay long of common names. But you got to go back, see what the Latin designation is. And they don't even agree on that. They keep changing that periodically just to keep you on your toes. So get out there, do some gardening, have some fun. And the benefit is you get to eat it, which is the best part because it's fresher and it's better than what you can go out and buy, if you can go out and find it. So you can grow stuff that you can't find in stores. So go out, do some gardening, have some fun. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Steve. Good advice. I'm trying to find eggs right now. Under $1 a piece. Mary, you want to come up and give us the timers report?
He will be very mad at me. So Kate, 6:56. Jackie, 5:87. And Steve, 6:18.
Qualified, right?
Yeah.
So, thanks, Mary. All right, Mary, thank you very much. You can cast your votes for one of our three speakers, Steve Smith, Jackie Kenny, or Kate, or. And at this time, I can bring up Joe Budnick. Joe, you want to come up and take care of the evaluations, introduce the evaluators? Pass the meeting over to you.
I personally love spring. I think summer's my favorite, but I always had a soft spot for spring. It was, like I said, a time of transition, everything just coming to life again. And Mike, you talked about your dogs tracking dirt in your house. Well, we had 2 dogs and we had a neighbor that was a farmer that used to fertilize his garden with manure. And our dogs would go rolling it, and it was disgusting. So anyways, our first evaluator is Carol Ann Halstead, evaluating Katie Orr. Thank you, Carol.
Kate, one thing you always excel at is your enthusiasm. And when you're telling us about all these upcoming things, just the way you convey it, it makes us very interested in it and wanting to participate. And you gave your information and, try to do it in chronological order. I know we will also have it in print somewhere, but it was good to have a review of what's going on. You have very good vocal variety, and you even graced us with a song. However, you have hand gestures, which is an advantage when you're here in person, because sometimes on Zoom that you can't tell that. However, I think you went a little overboard with hand gestures. It's like all of a sudden I'm watching here, So, and you came before the lectern, which is always good to be out closer. However,
you knew, we didn't expect you to have them memorized, all the events. And even if you'd, coming in front was the good idea, but even if you'd had a paper reading them in front would have, because it was kind of a back and forth. So I would say too, that of course your enthusiasm makes you talk a little faster. So maybe just slow down a little, but that's part of your personality. So it's difficult, but maybe practice your speech at home, because I know a lot of times my timing has been off if I haven't practiced enough to know, like to when to slow down and when to speed up. But it was a very informative. We're glad to know all these events are going to be happening, and that was an enjoyable speech.
Our next evaluator is David Licata, evaluating Jackie Kenny. Thank you, Dave.
Okay, this is my rugby shirt, son. Okay, much rougher. It was a million years ago, I encountered a junior. I was just a lowly freshman, and she was a junior. And we always are in awe of people that outrank us. So it's always a pleasure for me to finally evaluate the junior. She reeled us in with some small talk, and then boom, she hit us with the "Are you listening?" She successfully reminded us how important listening is. And this is where I have to come clean and be honest with you, that I have caught myself not listening as much as a seasoned Toastmaster should. It's like you double down on yourself. You say, what's wrong with you? You know better than that. So I appreciate this strong reminder. But that's what I'm doing. Instead of listening, I'm getting ready to fire off my witty retort, which can make you a big bore real quick. So that's important. I'd like to apologize to Darcy. We had 3 speakers today that did not use pathways or anything. They're just off in the ether. Who did? Oh, you did. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Let's hear it for the little pixie in the front row. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Oh, I'm just getting cranked up, but yes. But the irony is, the transition is that here's somebody talking about adhering to the plan and reaching the educational goals, who's maybe been a Toastmaster for 43 years and is really just a competent communicator after all these years. So don't be like me. Do your assignments. Much better about sticking with the assignments, because I just look at my son, I said, Mikey, where am I? And he plugs me into the proper assignment. So I want to assure you, Darcy, that we are not a hotbed of Toastmaster rebellion and sedition here, even though you might get the idea that we are. Now, what I loved, just that she reminded us to listen, to be better listeners. My sales pitch to people that have never heard of Toastmasters is, we're going to teach you how to speak. We're going to teach you how to listen. And when you combine the listening and the speaking, you get leadership. Mr. General Evaluator.
And finally, we have Eric Schneider, evaluating Stephen Smith. Thank you, Eric.
I know, yeah, I know where Nancy's going with that. My entrance was a little backwards, yes. Mr. General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters guests, and Steve. All right, if anybody needs gardening tips, go to Steve. I think Steve should write a book on how to garden because I don't even know how to garden. I think it's a backbreaker, to be honest with you. But in Steve's case, he didn't talk about wrestling today, which I kind of was hoping that he was going to talk about wrestling because, yeah, it's because about a couple weeks ago when Jill talked about her take on wrestling, I think Steve should just put on a cape, a Speedo, and then just jump into the ring. And he'd be named the astronomer. You just have a nice little telescope in the middle of the ring, and then there you go. But that was not the case for Steve today. Steve, you gave a good speech about gardening. I think we should all are used to gardening. I bet everybody gardens during the spring and summer. But has anybody do gardening in the fall? All right, Jill's the only one, as far as I know, or we all know. But you've projected yourself very professionally, Steve, as you are always a very professional person. And it was good audience participation when everybody kept saying you said 900 and when you try to say 9,000. But Steve, were you saying 9,000? All right, there we go. We heard it first, folks. It was 9,000. Your gestures were good, on point, because you were making your case on gardening and with peppers, which I really do enjoy, which my mother always makes stuffed peppers at times, which is always a good part as well. Again, you and Jill should write a book on tips of gardening, and we'd be happy to buy it if you sell them online. Steve, you may want to work on maybe a picture of your garden and also on one of the peppers that you make or picked out from your garden. Yeah. And to challenge yourself, I would like maybe project yourself more if you move away from the lectern. Maybe you have the lectern back and have the lapel mic on, and maybe really broaden yourself more too. Because I know you are just a go-getter with your speeches. So, but that's all I have. So thank you, Mr. General Evaluator.
So thank you to all our evaluators. All three of them did a wonderful job pointing out the positive aspects of all of our speeches. And Carol Ann, I like how you pointed out Katie's enthusiasm. Katie, you always get everyone enthused, which is really cool. And David and Eric both like your use of humor. And David, I like how you pointed out how Jackie said the importance of listening. You can hear it, but doesn't mean you always listen. That's what our teachers always used to nag us in school. Oh, you're hearing what I have to say, but are you truly listening? It's like, no. Why should I? You got a big mouth, lady. But that's what I would think. I would never say it in school because I'd be in trouble if I did. And I like also, Eric, how you pointed out how professional Steve is, and both of you could write books about gardening and horticulture. It was very informative. So I would like to get to our job holders now. Oh, timers report. I'm sorry. May I have a timers report? Thank you. I would never forget you, Mary.
Everybody qualified, actually. Carol Ann at 242. Dave, 301. And Eric, 233.
Awesome. Thank you. So now I'd like to hear from our master, Nancy Ferry. Nancy, thank you. I'm sure I slipped a few in. Thank you.
Yeah. While I was doing my ers, ahs, and ums and so's, I forgot that I'm not grammarian too. So I had to cross out all of my grammarian thoughts here. You know, was quite popular today. Ah. So was popular. There were a few in the proper place, but there were a lot of so's. 5 ums, no, 5 4 not to be confused with each other. I counted at least 6 yas. I'm not sure if that's a grammarian thing, ya instead of you. And I think the rest of them belong to the grammarian.
And may we hear from our grammarian, Mr. Mike Licata. Thank you, Mike.
Good morning, excuse me, Mr. General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, and our guests this morning. Much strong language again. That's terrible grammar. I will count myself on that one. Kate, you said you're going to announce the slate of officers in March. I think you meant May. You said back out more, which is wrong. Jackie said fine art to listening, which I thought was very correct and very descriptive. Steve, I thought you had very descriptive language describe going through your gardening experiences every fall. Carol Ann said had a couple of restarts. David used eloquent. It's like, which is bad. You used the word sedition. And that's pretty much it. And I do want to encourage everyone when we go to speak, we have the opportunity to go back and rewatch our speeches. We should learn to slow down because there were quite a few restarts. I don't know if that was the nature of the speeches this morning, so I want to encourage everyone. We have this tremendous opportunity to go back and listen and watch our speeches, to just slow down when we speak. We're not in a rush. We are timed, but we have to understand we work within parameters and buffers. So I encourage everyone to just slow down a little bit when we speak. Mr. General Evaluator.
And do we have a quiz master in the house? Okay, Len, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. Fellow Toastmasters, I had just enough coffee in me to garner a few little tidbits for this Quizmaster portion. Dave Shannon is thankful for several things. Name one of them since moving down. Golf. All of us. GPS, that's what I was looking for. Very good. What is the Latin word for spring, the complete word? The Latin word, not a phrase. Vernalic. Vernalic. Okay. When are we going to the Shaw Festival to see Anything Goes? What date? May 3rd. Very good. How many varieties of hostas currently exist? Over 9,000. Yeah. They're going to be hooking me up with a half a dozen or so in the spring, right? Yeah. For services rendered. And Steve was talking about hot things. What was one of the peppers he mentioned where 2 of our members currently live? Carolina Reaper. I had the opportunity, well, the experience of tasting a Carolina Reaper flavored piece of popcorn from Chenez Popcorn recently. Somebody just handed me a little Dixie cup with 1 kernel of popcorn in it and said, "Here, Len, try this." This was a friend of mine on my bowling team. So without any further information, I tasted it, 3 bites, swallowed, and then it hit me. They're hot. I generally like hot things, but there's no reason for that. The person who developed the Carolina Reaper eats these every day, and he crossbreeds them, and he's got one that's 3 times hotter. It's called X pepper. Yeah, I think it's just 2 notches down from pepper spray. I don't think we're meant to consume things like that. That's all I had today. Back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
That pepper report, yes. Like I said, I've always loved spring. Always, like I said, a time when everything starts coming alive again. And a lot of little critters sometimes come out too, like stink bugs. We get those in our house. And yes, they are. At least when you squish them, they do. They stink. I don't squish them. I flush them down the toilet. Burial at sea. In our old house, because my mom and I just moved to Lockport, but our old house, we used to get down in the basement. Now, see, I am terrified of spiders. They are my deepest, darkest fear. And we used to get these, I don't know what they were in the basement, some kind of water spiders. Big, huge black suckers, like little mini tarantulas. They were disgusting. I would have to have my mother come down and kill them because I wouldn't even touch them with a 10-foot pole. Now, we had this tub down in our basement, and which is where the laundry water would go down. And I look in the basement, and not one, but two for the price of one, little mini tarantulas in there. Now, picture this. I had a broom handle. I would not stick my hand in the tub, flipping over the cover over the drain because I did not want to go anywhere near it, and pushing the water to flush both of them down the drain. It was pathetic. That's how horrified I am of spiders. I can't deal with them. We don't have any in our new house, thank God. I haven't seen any, so at least that's one thing I don't miss about our old home. Sorry, I hate spiders. They're disgusting. Well, it's ridiculous, yeah. But we also have like little reptiles come out in the spring too, like turtles, snakes, frogs. And I like snakes. I don't mind snakes one bit. My mother doesn't like snakes. I think I was about 9 years old. I caught this snake in the backyard. It was a huge garter snake. And I came in the house with it behind my back. Hey, Mom, I have a surprise for you. Get that thing out of the house. I got that thing out of the house because I figured if I didn't, I would probably be homeless in a minute. Yeah, so, right. So we have our winners, and Mike, I wondered if you would like to come up and keep me company while we announce our winners. Okay? Well, I hope not. I'll get the bug spray. Oh, okay. How did our word of the day go, may I ask? Thank you, Joe. I wouldn't forget you, Joe. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Transition did quite well today, along with the massive use of it during table topics. Mike Florio used it at least 6 times. It's not done yet. Nancy used it at least 4 times. I've also got Marty, Mike Licata, Marshall, Joe Budnick, and Dave Licata for once. Jackie used it twice. And I'm sure there was lots of other transitions. As to Steve's ghost pepper omelet, I knew something was wrong when I came home from church and the omelet was still sitting on his plate. And he was just looking at it. It doesn't normally happen. Yeah. From the bathroom, no. And the amaranth that Steve said that was edible. I think it was the Aztec that they found seeds in one of their vaults that was like 4,000 years old, and they germinated. So that's tells you something about amaranth. So, but I think that's my word report for today.
Thanks, Joe. A lot of fun today, as usual.
And now we have our winners. So our best table topics today is Darcy.
Darcy, come on up. We want to know that this one is framed too. We want this one framed under glass.
Congratulations, Darcy. Here we go. Our best evaluator today is David Licata. Thank you, David.
There you
Got a red one?
go.
Everybody gets a trophy.
Mm-hmm.
Participation trophy there, Dave.
And our best speaker today is Katie Banks.
Shenanigans.
We loved your shenanigans today. Here we go.
I'm going to confirm. Okay, you have. One last chance. Next week, we'll do the drawing for the dues. So this week, buy another ticket, or next week, buy another ticket to get in there. Probably not enough time right now. We had 9 entries. That's good. So next week, we'll do the drawing for dues. Instead, to make sure Margot and everybody who buys them online gets in. Len does that. Margot does that. Reminder, you can pay for the split club for every week with your dues. That's right on the PayPal option if you want to, or ask me if you have questions. Let's see who the winner is. Last 3 numbers. I can't read that without my glasses. Can you? No, it's not.
854.
It might be. I don't know.
854.
That wasn't either.
Oh,
Thank you for
better
checking.
prizes.
Jackie, you got $4.50. All right, we'll do the drawing next week.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, pay cash. All righty. All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Darcy, would you like to come up and give us your, because we'd love to see more of your certificates and stuff. Would you like to come up and see how she enjoyed the meeting? Come on up. You're very welcome.
Thank you for the second opportunity to come up here today. Thank you. I got a minute. Is that about right? Okay, minute. Okay. Okay. First of all, thank you so much for letting me come into your meeting today. I appreciate that very much. I grew up in Niagara County, spent most of my life here in Niagara County. I loved your speech about gardening. My father was a farmer, and I grew up on a farm. I worked on many farms, and now I'm married to a farmer. So I appreciated all those things you were talking about, the no-till and all that kind of stuff. I can definitely relate to that. My grandfather was one that he would take the, what do we call it, the drag. I mean, and we would have to not only drag it lengthwise, but then we'd have to do there was a name for it. What was the name for it? Cut the corner, or there was a different name for it. We called it something else, but you'd actually go diagonal, and then you'd keep working your way around so that you also did it the other diagonal. And that was beautifully worked up, very beautifully. So I appreciated that. I am looking around for different Toastmaster places to settle again and get back into Toastmasters. I want to be a better better communicator. Obviously, I've got some work to do. A better leader, and I always strive to be a better person. And it was very refreshing when, I can't remember who said it, we always learn something. You always learn something, not only about your skills in leadership and communication, but also, which is the most important, learn about other people. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And I will not forget our Division A Director, Karen. Karen, would you like to say a few words, please?
Thank you so much for the privilege of being a part of this meeting. I enjoy it when I get to experience it myself, and Lockport is definitely worth getting up for. I believe that humor is a language, and I think this club speaks that language well. I'm not accustomed to laughing this many times about this much material so early in the morning. Really a treat. Kate, I appreciate that you highlighted the Division A contest, which, yes, it's Saturday, March 29th at the Audubon Library, same space as used for the Area 13 contest. Anyhow, the library itself opens at 10 a.m. Doors to the contest space will open about 10:30. The contest itself will start about 11 a.m. If you are a contestant, I or the contest chair, who is Tony Astron from Toast of Roswell, will reach out to you with specifics regarding the contestant briefing. But plan on arriving at the library no later than 10:30. And congratulations to today's winners and to the recent contest winners. And especially I'm excited because the future is very bright for your club. Whenever AM Lockport comes up, I hear good things about it. And that's including from district leadership. So you are noticed, appreciated, and applauded. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. All right, Toastmaster for next week is Marty Johnston. I know Marty, you are all right. Myself, Mr. Florio, and Maggie, we're all speaking next week. So, Marty, do you have a theme? Nope. All right, we'll look forward to your email. And can we just say welcome back, Joe? Joe, it's good to see you all better. Good to see you. All right, if there are any other announcements, we will see everybody next week. Meeting adjourned.